Whether you're feeling so many symptoms of perimenopause or you're just aware that it's coming down the pipeline for you and you do not want to be stuck, this is the episode for you. Let's dive in.
What's up, sister? Welcome back to the Period Whisperer podcast, the show helping perimenopause and menopause women de-stress your body and decode what it's saying to you so you can own your own health, energy, and weight loss again. If you're new, I'm so happy you're here. I'm Bria. I'm your host, a recovering people pleaser and hustle addict turned functional and holistic hormone specialist. Let's lean in and learn what your body is saying to you.
Hey there, sister. Bria here. Welcome back to the Period Whisperer podcast. We are going to just dive right in today. I'm feeling spicy. It's a Monday morning. I am in my follicular phase, so I'm feeling that like beautiful energy coming up, and it is making me feel spicy. So I have something for you today. I am going to drive home something that I think is very important and something that really blew my mind and got me unstuck in perimenopause, and I believe it will do the same for you. But it starts here. It starts with the root of perimenopause frustration, right? We are all out there, and maybe you're not experiencing anything yet. Maybe you're just feeling frustrated in life, or maybe you're worried about perimenopause and these hormonal shifts and the things that we're being told are going to happen to us, these hot flashes and not sleeping. Maybe you're just worried about these things, or maybe these things are actually happening to you. I'm willing to bet that some of these things are happening to you, and that is how you came to listen to this podcast. So I am grateful you are here, but whoever you are, whether you are experiencing a lot of symptoms, or you're afraid of experiencing symptoms, or you're just frustrated in life, the root of perimenopause frustration, not the symptoms, but the root of the frustration around the symptoms has everything to do with you being stuck. And women are not, we're very familiar with being stuck, I think, in life. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But in perimenopause, now you are not stuck in concrete where you're just feeling like, I don't know which way to turn. Oh no. Now you are stuck on an escalator going in the wrong direction because we are in midlife. And although I absolutely believe that we should all be thinking about life right now in our 30s, 40s, 50s, as look at how much life I have left to go. Look at all that is left to accomplish. We know this engine that we're in, this body that we're in, we know around this age that if we are not on top of it, it's not going quickly in the upscaling direction. It is wearing out, right? And I don't mean that as a doomsday thing. I think it's just a reality thing. At midlife, we may have reached the peak of our engine performance capacity. Doesn't mean our engine can't perform to a great level. We just maybe in midlife have reached that peak where it's going to be just a little bit more challenging. And of course, if we are feeling stuck, if you are not moving in a direction right now, if you are not moving forward, you don't get to just stay the same because we are in our midlife. And the longer we wait, the more to make change, to feel better, the faster our body starts to degrade. So it sounds a little depressing, but here is the most beautiful thing about it. It's this perspective shift I want you to think about. Perimenopause is this added workload in your body. Your body is doing something else. It's making a massive shift. Ovaries are shutting down, passing the torch to the adrenals. Hormone production is decreasing a little. Big flippin' deal in the body. It's huge. This added workload, yes, it makes you uncomfortable because all of a sudden the body's doing more and you've already been juggling so many balls. You've been redlining this energy supply and demand in your body where you barely had enough, like you were just handling it all, right? And this is what I hear from so many women because this was my story too. You're going along, you're juggling all the balls. Maybe you're even feeling good about all the balls that you're juggling, or you're just like, okay, I'm keeping it together. I'm keeping it together. And all of a sudden it's like overnight. That was my snap. Overnight. It's all of a sudden it's like overnight things start to shift. That is this workload descending in upon us, because we do not have the energy to meet that demand, because now energy has to be allocated for this very critical transition. So this starts to make us uncomfortable. And I think it's important to honor that, recognize that, because this is an important transition in the body. And on top of the physical demand, the more energy demand happening in the body, the shifting of our hormones makes this perspective, this stuckness on a down escalator really darn clear to us all of a sudden. Because for half of our lives, from puberty until now, we have been beautifully hormonally hijacked, specifically, I would say, by estrogen, who kind of comes along for the first half of a month, like mine is right now, and makes us feel like everything is wonderful with these rose-colored glasses and everything's going to be great. And then it just disappears in our luteal phase and leaves us feeling like, oh, what is going on, right? This is kind of the hormonal shift of our sex hormones in reproduction, right? We've got this beautiful hormones that comes on. So now this estrogen is not coming to its capacity, or it's a little bit jiggity, right? It's up, it's down, it's all around, depending on you. And that is leaving us really, really aware of what life looks like without the rose-colored glasses on. And although I'm a big believer in seeing the positive, I also think it's really important that we see things for what they are. So no more sweeping things under the rug, no more being a people pleaser, these things, no more putting everyone else above you. But these shifts, this added workload, these hormones kind of all of a sudden changing, and now changing your mindset, changing your perspective a little, making you more uncomfortable. This is why you're actually going to get unstuck, because it's happening for you and for all women. No woman gets to be immune from perimenopause into menopause and beyond. And what I want you to think about right now, because I struggled with this for a while, I want you to think about the fact that this is actually a gift. Society tells us, oh, we're drying up, oh, we're getting older, oh, there's no more use for us, oh, this, oh, that. Perimenopause is happening for you and all women as a gift, so that we can move into this next amazing phase of our life at the top of our gosh darn game. I'm struggling not to swear today for some reason. I think it's this fired upness. Women are given the gift of bearing children. Gift or curse. I mean, we can all look at things differently, but yes, it's a beautiful thing. And now that time is ending, and now we are being given the gift of self-focus. I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I found it so interesting. I learned it recently. Only 3 species in the world have females that live past reproductive age: killer whales, elephants, and humans. And when we ask and dig into the research as to why, the research points to educate and pass on wisdom. And sister, that is easily translated into you fulfilling your dream. Your body and your hormones right now are evolving you to go after the thing that fulfills you. Because I don't know a single woman who doesn't want to make a difference in some way, big or small, who doesn't want to help in some way, big or small. And now you have the wherewithal, you have your hormones are shifting to allow you that. And the added workload in your body is pushing you to start to pay attention to fix the cracks, fix the things, fix the decisions that aren't working for you, so that you have full bandwidth, full capacity, full wherewithal to go after your dreams. Whatever that is. Climb a mountain, travel the world, build a business, be the best mom or the best partner or the best daughter or have the best house. It doesn't even matter, because your ripple effect really, really matters, and your impact matters. And that is what this situation of perimenopause is giving to us right now. It is making you so uncomfortable so that you cannot do anything else but change. But make no mistake, if you stay on that escalator, you're not staying stuck. You are going down now. And it is time for you to run up that escalator because there are impacts that you need to make to feel your soul on fire. I've definitely read, and I'm sure you've read, I think there's stories or books about what people say on their deathbed. And they always say they wish they had gone after their dreams more. Like, that's a huge piece of it. So this is a midlife at 30, 40, 50. We've still got 30, 40, 50 years left. We now have time, and our hormones are supporting that. There's no hormone coming up every single month being like, have babies. Come on. It's important. Populate the earth. We don't have that anymore. Now we get to really hear what we think at all times. Let me tell you about one of my clients. I have an amazing client right now who is a registered nurse. So she makes an impact. And a year ago, she couldn't even get out of bed. She was so exhausted. This added workload had really begun to highlight a lot of issues in her body. And not only do we start to become so exhausted, but we all know this story. We don't feel refreshed when we wake up. Then our energy is impacted in the day. And all of a sudden we're gaining weight. We're not recovering from our workouts. We're frustrated. There goes our libido. And we start to lose our opportunities for joy because we're just too tired for it. When we were able to get her off that escalator, she feels like a different person now, living her life, going after her dreams. And what's so important about that is, as an RN, she makes a huge impact on the lives of so many people. I have another amazing client. I've been so blessed to work with so many amazing women, but I have another one who has a business and a really big impact on helping children with disabilities, children with autism, children who need extra help thrive, function, grow. That's an impact. And look, that's just one of our gigs, right? We have an impact with our children if you are a mother. You have an impact in other people's children if you are an auntie or a godparent. You have an impact on the people around you. We have an opportunity to create impact every single day. One of the things my dad always said to me growing up was, your job is to affect people, not to be affected by people. But we better make sure that how you're affecting them is the way you want to be affecting them. It's an important thing. We want to take advantage of this opportunity and impact. And here we are as one of 3 species who's given the opportunity to pass down our wisdom, to make a massive impact, to go after our dreams so that we can lay on our deathbed one day. This is getting a little dark. I don't mean for it to be dark, but we can lay on our deathbed one day and say, gosh, I lived. I loved. I mattered. I think it's Brendan Burchard who says that line, and I just absolutely love it. Every woman I speak to on a discovery call, on my one-on-one clients, in social media, you guys who message me through the podcast, in my Midlife Mojo group coaching program, they are making a massive impact in their lives right now, or they have the opportunity to. But now all of a sudden we're a little stuck on this escalator going in the wrong direction and not recognizing the opportunity that is right in front of us. Recognizing that opportunity, I believe, and this was what got me unstuck, recognizing the opportunity of getting to the top of this escalator as you run up the down escalator. We know it's a little more effort, but recognizing that opportunity was very motivating. And I want it to motivate you too. I want you to recognize your opportunity for impact because of this gift of perimenopause. It is making you uncomfortable on purpose. Your job is to now figure out what has to happen and get to the other side. And here's what's important. I think in order to understand what we have to do, we have to understand why we aren't running up the escalator right now. You are stuck. You're going on this down escalator. We are on it. Why are you not running up to the top? Why are we not pushing ourselves to a deep level to get to that top by prioritizing ourselves, by investing in ourselves, investing in our health as women? Here's why. Our culture, our society has kept us stuck by teaching us to look outside of ourselves for answers. As girls, and I don't know about you, but I know a lot of girls, and I was one of these girls. I was stuck in a lot of uncomfortable situations with men who said things to me or boys who said things to me that were not appropriate, people of leadership, men of leadership. And I didn't know how to speak up for myself because society told me, let's not ruffle feathers. Don't make it more dangerous or more scary or more uncomfortable for other people. Just suck it up. So I uncomfortably laughed off a lot of really uncomfortable shit. And I know you've been in those situations before. As wives, and I hear this from women, research is showing us women are still doing 80%. If you're in a hetero relationship, 80% of the emotional labor on top of their career, on top of raising the kids, on top of being typically the one that does 80% of the work around the house, 80% of the emotional labor in a relationship. As wives, we make sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, by putting other people's wants over our needs. I used to be that woman. I used to think if I just did more, maybe he would be happy so I could be happy. If I just did all of the things that I could, isn't that what marriage is? It's sacrifice. It's meeting in the middle. That's not meeting in the middle. 80-20 is not the middle. 50-50 is the middle. And we want two people giving 100%, of course, and that can't always happen, but that's another episode. But the world told us, culture told us, marriage is hard. So sacrifice, do more, do your best, do others, they need you. We need to do for ourselves and allow that to spill over to other people so that they can do for themselves. Two adults in a marriage need to take care of their side of the street and pour that beautiful extra over onto each other and cover each other as needed for short periods of time. But we stay stuck doing more than we should be doing for other people, sacrificing our health because this is what we were taught. And as women coming into perimenopause, who've been told our whole lives that our body is a key part of our worth, that we need to move more and eat less in order to feel good and be worthy, this advice is bunk and it's no longer working. And you know that, and I know that because we're all in perimenopause and we've been stuck on the escalator. I was there with you. This advice is not working because it is coming from outside of us. So now we understand why we're so frustrated. And now we understand the opportunity, right? You have an opportunity here to thrive, to go after whatever dream that is, big, small, whatever. It's your dream. It gets to be your dream. You get to fulfill it. And now we understand why we've been so stuck. Because this is how we've been taught to be. We've been taught to look outside of us for approval, outside of us for answers. But the answers, sister, especially at this time in our life, they are within. In fact, they've always been within. So how do we start to uncover these answers? This is the work I do with my clients in my group coaching program and my one-on-one. But I want to walk you through it a little bit here. Because the answer to you feeling better, to you having more energy, to you thriving is inside of you. Now we need to know how to listen to it, how to hear it. Because something else we have been taught very, very, very well to do as women, while we're looking outside of us, is put blinders on and ignore the messages of our body. Push through, ignore them, put other people above you. You know it's true. And if it's not true for you, please send me a message. So here's what we do. Number one, we have to stop numbing the voices, numbing the discomfort. And this is all about scrolling, like shopping, eating and drinking things that we know we're doing not for fuel, but for numbing. And you know when we do it, right? When you reach for that alcohol at the end of the day, not because it's like a fun, joyful drink with your girlfriends or a celebratory moment, because you just want to numb the edges, right? When you pick up your phone to scroll because you just want to numb the edges, not to put out value or purpose. We have to stop numbing the voice. We need those edges to change. Number two, you have to make the voice get louder. You've got to give that voice the fuel and energy it needs. And we do this by figuring out our fuel mixture, learning not what someone else told us in a meal plan is what we should eat, but by listening to our body and feeding it a certain type of food, a certain amount of food, and paying attention to how that food responds in our body. When you learn your fuel mixture, when you understand how much protein versus carbohydrates versus fats help you stay energized and full and satisfied in between meals, life gets really easy because we are no longer having to stop life to eat or spin and think about eating. We can just function. Number three, you have to pay attention to what the voice is saying and get to the truth. Where is it uncomfortable? Are you tired? Are you not sleeping well? Do we need to better understand your stress and wake and sleep cycle in your adrenal hormones? Are your periods all over the place and heavy and uncomfortable? Do we need to look at your sex hormones, at your detoxification pathways? Is your digestion wonky? Do we need to get a better look at what's happening inside your gut? Are you cold all the time when everyone else is hot? Is your hair falling out? These are the things that consume our minds, right? They take our time. It robs us energy, both mentally and physically. Do we need to look at your thyroid if that's the case? We've got to really start to know our place. And I realize that testing is an investment, but isn't our health worth that investment? Isn't it easier to regularly start testing and know what your levels are inside of your body, the function of your body, before you get diagnosed with something, before you slide down to being a 4 out of 10? What is very wonderful, and it's something that I love to do, is I test these key areas of my body, the functions of my body, the gut, the thyroid, the liver, the hormones, the sex hormones, the adrenal hormones, once a year on my birthday, because now I know what good looks like inside, and I know I have a baseline of where things should be in order for me to thrive, and I have an opportunity to improve it. So know what our body is saying to us, pay attention to where these messages are coming from, and get into the root cause of it. Number 4, you have to 10x it. Now that you've done this, you've got this energy supply, you've stopped numbing it, you've decided you're going to change. We've got to 10x that stuff. And we do that by looking at the external factors in our life that suck our energy and that provide our energy. What are the toxins in your food, in your cookware, in your skin products, in your beauty products? What are the areas of your life that fuel your soul that you need to double down on, right? This is what gives us the energy to run up the down escalator. Because you have things to do, you have dreams to go after. And finally, you need to invest in the right things. Now we have this surplus of energy. If you follow these steps, you're going to have a surplus of energy. You need to invest that in the right thing. And I'm going to tell you right now, the right thing is definitely putting on muscle. Putting on muscle is like wrapping your body in armor for the future. But we can't put on muscle unless we've done those other steps. So we got to do these things. This is what gives us the opportunity to bound up that sliding down escalator and go after our dreams, because we are one of 3 species with wisdom to pass down, with impact to make. And staying stuck on that escalator, it's going to frustrate you even more. That's why you're more frustrated now, because we're not just standing around stuck, looking around, seeing where everyone else is going. Now you are sliding backwards, and you do not need to be. Everything is here available to you, sisters. So take one of these steps and start to go after it. If you've been numbing, stop numbing. If you have not nailed your fuel mixture to make that voice get louder, start doing that. Spend the next 2, 3, 4 weeks committed to that piece. If you haven't been listening to what your body is saying, start listening. Start paying attention. Make that the sole focus of your health until you've got it. And reach out if you want to look at functional lab work, if you want to better understand, if you want to take yourself from a 5 to a 7 to a 9, an 8 to a 10, wherever you are at in your health. and then invest that energy in fitness. Pick the step that you're on and take it to that next level, because you know that there is something awesome at the top of that escalator. I am up there now that I have done that work, and I'm waiting for you. All right, sister, go out. Be more in your life, please, and not just less on a scale. I know you want it. I know we're alike. That's why you're here listening to this, because you have big dreams. You were meant for more. We will catch you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for joining me on the Period Whisperer podcast. If you liked this episode, take 30 seconds right now to write a review on iTunes, and then reach out to me directly on Instagram at Bria_period_whisperer and message me there with a screenshot of your review. As a thank you, I will give you a customized free hormone audit to get you on your way to the best health of your life in midlife.